What's going on, guys? Welcome back to CNC Life, and today we thought we would do a sit-down video for you guys. As some of you guys may know, we live in North Carolina. We moved here back in April, and we feel like we have learned a lot. And so today we wanted to give you guys the pros and cons of buying a new build home. So we bought a brand new home, and also just like moving across the country.
Without family.
Blindly, also, blindly. So anyways, let's just go and jump right into it. We feel like we've learned a lot. We just wanted to share with you guys kind of what we've learned, you know, do the pros and cons of it all. So I think we should go ahead and jump right into it. I am blind today, guys, honestly. I'm supposed to be wearing my glasses, but they're reflecting off to you guys, so I just can't see anything. Because I'm trying to figure out if I can get LASIK, so I have to wear glasses all week, but I can't stand wearing them.
Today's actually her first day.
I'm already complaining. So I'm just not gonna wear them. I can't see anything. I can't even see myself in the camera, but we're still gonna do this. I don't need to be able to see for this.
It's okay, I see you're in the shot, so you're good.
All right, so let's just go to get started. What is the first pro?
I would say the farmer's market.
Farmer's market. We basically buy all of our produce, veggies, at least most of them, meat, especially only meats from the farmers, local farmers. We buy everything from farmers market. That's been a huge thing for us for moving out here.
And then any question we have, we just talk to the farmer directly, and he lets us know, and hopefully he's telling us the truth. Yeah.
But even if they aren't, we can actually visit the farm too. These are all local areas that we could just go to. They're no more than like 30, 45 minutes away from us. So that's been a huge thing. I think the second pro of us living in North Carolina was personally just the weather change. Something we really strived for was getting 4 seasons. And in North Carolina, you get 4 seasons.
We just wanted more rain also.
More rain, more snow. We wanted cold weather. We wanted something different. In California, it is warm there all the time.
Especially where we lived, it was a little extra hotter where we lived.
So, I mean, if you like that, if you like, you know, the constant 80-degree weather, 90-degree, 110-degree weather, then yeah, California's great. But if you're like us and you want something different, North Carolina definitely has offered that, and I know it's going to keep offering that. I know out here it doesn't get too cold. Like, some places get really cold, and like cold for months. Like, no sun comes out. But I don't think that's how North Carolina is going to be. Obviously, we haven't been here a full year yet, but I just think from what we've heard and what I've seen before, it shouldn't be that bad.
And also another pro is the gas.
The gas out here is a huge pro too. It's a lot cheaper. Okay, now I want to talk about the actual pros of the house. So I want to talk, because we really want to talk to you guys about buying a brand new build home. And it sounds like it'd be perfect because it'd be like, oh my gosh, it's a brand new built home. But there's a lot of cons to buying a brand new built home. But I do feel like there are still pros as well. I think the biggest pro of buying a brand new home is that you bought a brand new home. No one's ever lived in it. No one's ever used the AC units, the water heater, the septic tank.
Everything is new. Everything's
brand new. And I think that's just a huge pro, that you know that you're the first one to basically be living in this home. And I think we love that about this house. Everything's just so fresh and modernized because of how they build homes nowadays. Obviously, like older homes, I often found it and like, oh, we're gonna have to fix a few things. We're gonna put new flooring down. We're gonna rip out that carpet because you don't want to live with someone else's carpet. The kitchen was never like, you know, beautiful white kitchen. It was always like brown, and you got brown granite. So I feel like that's a huge pro.
She loves the colors of the house.
I love the colors of the home. I do. I think it's beautiful. It looks really pretty. It's very aesthetically pleasing.
Another pro to having a new home is that if there's anything wrong with the home, it's still under warranty.
Yes. You get like 1-year warranty for certain things, 2-year warranty, 3-year warranty, 10-year warranty on stuff.
And we have been just using it.
Yes. And so like obviously there's a lot of cons with this house, like we told you guys, and we've been able to get so many things fixed without having to spend a dime on our end because it is held under home warranty that they have to fix it. I guess obviously the problem with that is just like you have to go through that process of doing it. But if you're willing to put the time into it, a lot of our problems have all been fixed without us having to put our own money into it, or even having to go find our own contractors, which is very difficult to do so right now in the world that we live in.
We even helped one of our neighbors get in contact with the contract, with the warranty
people. So that's a huge pro, is that like you got a brand new home, but there are problems, but you can get a lot of them fixed, which I think is super great. We've been utilizing that every month here. Every single month here. Huge pro, I think, for North Carolina and the house that we bought is that you get backyards here. In California, you really don't get backyards. I don't care where you live. You really don't get a backyard.
We have 2 huskies and they're very energetic, and that backyard that we had wasn't really enough for them. we would have to go to the dog park almost
Yes.
a lot.
And then also sharing that backyard with the dogs and Jackson was just so gross. I could just never let Jackson go back there. I was like, no, there's pee and poop everywhere. And even if you pick it up, you know they peed everywhere.
Yeah, because he was just barely learning to walk anyway.
Yeah.
He was crawling a lot.
And if it hasn't rained, then I just know that pee is there. So I just had a really hard time with the backyard that we had. And I am in love with the backyard that we have. Like the size backyard that we have here is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's a huge pro. You really don't get a backyard like this in California, in other expensive states like New York, you know, like you don't get that.
Unless you're a millionaire, which we're not.
We're not millionaires. You know, we're just normal people who just want to buy like a nice house with a big backyard, and we got to do that out here. And you can do that in other states too, but you can't do that in California, not right now at least with how prices are.
Yeah, inflation.
Inflation especially. So yeah, I mean, we love that we have such a big backyard. We have an acre property.
Also, another pro is that we still get to do everything we did in California. Besides visit family, that's a con.
Family, that's a huge con. Yeah, Carlos is right. Like we didn't lose out on any amenities that we like to do. So like a lot of times when you buy like something like this, maybe you live out like way out in the country. We do not live out way into the country. We still live close to Target, Walmart, coffee shops.
The big cities around here.
We definitely live further than we did in California. Like it is still a little bit more of a drive, but it's still doable. We do it every day. We literally go every day. We go places. So we still get to do everything we like to do. There's parks that we go to. There's a dog park that we like. We have everything that we like for food. Obviously, food actually is a bit tough one. We haven't found a ton of good food.
But it's a pro because we actually been cooking a lot, which I like and you like.
It's forced us to cook from home.
And we love cooking for Jackson.
Yeah. With us going to the farmer's market, it's encouraged us more to eat the food that we buy because we know that what we bought was of value. We're going to eat this food because this is special.
Then Cassie also just got into cooking, getting all these new recipes from her TikTok, I think.
TikTok, Pinterest, you name it, even Instagram, because I like cooking for Jackson. So that's a big thing too, is that because we do live a little bit further, it kind of forces us more to stay at home and cook food.
Yeah.
But we still get to eat out, and we still do. And the last thing I have written down here is that the house is pretty, which I've already kind of talked on, guys. A huge pro is I think the house is very pretty. Yeah. It looks nice. People see it, they go, oh, your house is gorgeous. I'm like, I know, it looks so gorgeous. Okay, time to get into the cons then.
Yeah, okay.
And I do feel like the cons may outweigh the pros to you guys, but the pros for us are huge pros. But there are lots of cons, but we still do live here. So there are, like, you know, we obviously have decided that these cons are worth it, but there are big cons, and we're gonna go ahead and jump right into that.
Yeah.
Whew, this is a tough one.
One of the first big cons is buying a house, kind of blinded because we did move across the country, so we trusted people that we shouldn't have.
Yeah. So if you're like a normal person, you don't really, if you're buying across the country, you don't really get to go visit that house, or even visit more than once, twice. And so we bought a home completely blindly, just through FaceTime, literally just through FaceTime, twice through FaceTime. That was all that we got to do for this house. And through FaceTime, you know, and through video, the house does look really pretty. So buying a house virtually, I wouldn't recommend. That's a big con, I think, because you get blindsided by a lot of stuff.
I wouldn't do it unless you have family to go check it out for you.
You don't get to look at all the nooks and crannies. You don't get to feel how things feel. You don't get, and you're taking the trust of someone who you don't know. Like, we just found a realtor, a random realtor, might I add. And, you know, we just were like, tell us what you think. Do you think the house is pretty? And, I mean, this person doesn't really know our standards. So to them, he's like, looks good. But to us, we were like, there's a lot of problems here that we think could have been caught. And then even the inspections, like, we didn't get to be here for inspection. There was tons of inspections that went through, and I feel like tons of things got missed because we weren't here to be like, hey, what about this? What about that? You know, there's tons of things that, you know, we're going through all this home warranty stuff that we wouldn't have had to go through if the inspector had caught a lot of these things.
We feel like the inspector didn't even do his job correctly. Because there's some stuff that you could blatantly see is like, how did he miss that? Yeah,
like insulation issues, huge insulation, just like holes in our doors, gaps, you know, caulking not being, like, windows not being sealed properly, the backyard drainage.
Doors not closing correctly.
Doors not closing or locking properly.
Was it the AC upstairs that didn't work?
Yeah, the AC.
Like, I don't even think he checked the AC because it wasn't even cooling down, so.
So there was just lots of little things, structure problems down in the crawl space, things that I just can't believe didn't get figured out. But I think if we were here, they would have been forced to figure that out more.
Huge problems. Like, we just got it fixed because we didn't even know. We feel like our house could have literally fell. Yeah,
like we found a huge structural defect in our house.
That once we filled out the warranty, they were here within hours to fix it because they knew.
It was a big deal. And that's scary to think that something like that got missed in inspection, and you're wondering, like, you know, we paid this inspector to come inspect our home, and I feel like we just didn't get the the respect that we needed for like, you know, inspections.
So I feel like if you're ever gonna buy a new house, or any house, you should always just be there with the inspector to make sure he does his job.
Okay, second big con, although that was like a bunch of cons in one. Another big con is definitely going to be that because you're buying a new home, you are the first time homeowner of this house, which means every little problem that other people would have fixed in a first time home, we're having to fix.
Yeah.
So everything that we've talked about, a lot of this wouldn't have been an issue if you weren't the first person living in this house. All this stuff would have been caught by the other first people, but we're those first people. So I mean, the next people who buy this house are gonna have this house set for them probably, because we're gonna have fixed all the little problems that arise here. You have to deal with all those problems, and I think that's a bummer actually, because now we're dealing with so many little problems that you didn't think should have been problems, but there are problems. So this one might be a little controversial. I don't know if this is everyone's experience, but personally I think the quality of new homes have gone down, and like the bar that people have to reach is like the bar that they reach. They don't go above and beyond for things. They don't go below because they can't, but they'll meet that bar right where it has to be. So I feel like the quality of our house is not what I would prefer. It looks pretty.
It looks pretty. We just feel like they're building a house fast right now.
Yeah, and they've admitted to that. Every time I talk to people that like, that's just what's going on nowadays. People build homes fast, they do things quickly, they get it up, they get it inspected, bare minimum gets reached, they sell it. One of the things that really bothers me about the house that I'll never be able to fix, I feel like, is the walls. they're so...
Well, we could fix them.
Yeah, but it's everywhere. It's every wall here. They feel super cheap, and it's something you couldn't have felt through FaceTime.
It's the paint.
Yeah, it's super cheap, and like if it's already been stained by just like, if anything gets on the walls, you can't clean it. You can't clean it if a piece of dirt, even if like there's dirt on the walls. If I scrub it, it just scrubs the paint off completely.
Feels like it's the cheapest paint you could find.
It feels like drywall. It feels so cheap, and that's something that we probably could have figured out if we had gotten to actually be here. But you know, you get here and through FaceTime, the walls look fine. How do you ask your realtor, how do the walls feel? I mean, that wasn't even a question in my mind, but they feel super cheap. It just feels like it could just fall apart. I have stains on the wall that I can't fix. I've tried to fix them and I just rub it off. And there's just nothing you can do about that. And I just think that's just like the quality of the home.
That just goes to show like this red clay here is ridiculous.
The red clay here is ridiculous. That's another big con. It's just like, you know, we thought when we bought a brand new home that we were gonna get a beautiful backyard with grass. And it looked like we were getting that. Like we thought we were getting a beautiful backyard with grass. But when we got here, we realized there wasn't that.
Yeah, we thought they were growing grass because there was a bunch of hay laid out.
Yeah.
But when we got here and whatever started growing, it wasn't grass, it was weeds.
It was like weeds. It's basically known as the worst grass ever, called crabgrass, and it is the lowest of grass. And ultimately, we just have tons of red clay problems because there's patches everywhere. So even where there is grass, there's still patches of dirt everywhere.
And Cassie's actually learning when you buy a new home from her aunt, because her aunt's building a brand new home.
Yeah.
And she's on top of them every day.
Yeah, like I was telling Carlos, if we ever were to buy a brand new home again, we would need to probably build it from the ground up, because you need to be there and you need to be in the area to make sure everything's being built to your expectations and to what you agreed upon, because you're paying for it.
Or find a house that's not completely finished that you could still do some changes.
Yeah.
And
you can make sure it's how you want, because I mean, like, you buy a house and you're not 100% sure and you get stuck with something that you're not, like, you didn't know was going to be issues. So that's a big one. The backyard's a huge bummer for us. Like, I know, like, a lot of people are like, oh, when your backyard gonna have grass? Like, I hope someday. Like, I hope someday it has grass.
It's September now.
Yeah.
It's gonna get done.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be a slow process because it is expensive.
But it has been so hard. Our house is ridden with red clay. Is red clay on the couches. The dogs are like permanently stained red clay. Clothes are permanently stained red clay. The floors are covered in red clay.
So it's just a red clay problem.
It's just a red clay problem. If we had grass like everybody else here has grass, it wouldn't have been a problem. But you know, like, the red clay is just horrible out here. And we were warned of it. We were warned of the red clay. And they were right. And then I think I just want to talk about the cons of just like the actual house. Just things that I wouldn't do again. But that obviously I knew this was here. I knew these things were here. But now that I've lived here, I don't like it. Number one being the master bedroom being downstairs. I don't like that. We don't even sleep in it, because how could I sleep in a different floor from my kid? You know, especially with how little he is.
Yeah.
This would be ideal if your kids were older and like were sleeping independently, could walk down the stairs independently.
Yeah, these stairs are scary.
Yeah, and also I will never buy a house that doesn't have carpet on the stairs. So many people think that carpet on the stairs is gross. I'm not one of those people. I love carpet on the stairs. I like the grip. Our stairs are terrifying. I don't know when I'll let Jackson go down those stairs because they're scary.
Yeah, even your dad slipped on
My
it.
dad slipped. I've slipped. You can't wear socks on those stairs.
I've slipped. Cece's scared sometimes.
Cece-
She's like going
It's
really
so
slow.
scary. If Cece was older, she wouldn't even be able to go up those stairs. They're really scary. So I definitely would never buy stairs. that
Our
are
other
perfect.
house had carpet and Cece just boom.
Barreled through them. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't recommend that. That's just a personal thing though, that I want carpet on my stairs next time. I don't care if it's dirty or if there's hair on it, I don't care. So we talked about home warranty and how great it is that we get to have things fixed here in the house for free.
This one's mostly for Cassie, not for me.
Yeah, one of the big things for me with the home warranty is that whenever they do send people to fix things, I can't talk to them because they don't speak English, which I think is crazy and mind-boggling because I basically can't fix my own house problems.
I wasn't here for one of them, and the guy literally just told her, like, I don't
I don't speak English. And I was like, what? You don't speak English? Even a little bit? And he said, not even a little bit. I was like, not a little bit, okay. Well, thankfully, Carlos does speak Spanish. But if Carlos didn't speak Spanish, I don't know what we'd be doing.
It would be lost.
Yeah, it would be really hard to explain our problem, and I just think that's really unprofessional. That's just our own personal home warranty issue.
That's just the builder.
Our specific builder is primarily only hires people who don't speak English.
Which we found out that they're not allowed to build in this area no more, which is, we just hit the lotto and got the house that they built.
Okay, super lucky. But yeah, that's just a huge bummer. And then on top of it, the home warranty, it does take a while. You have to fill out forms. And then it takes forever to get back, or they don't get back to you and you have to hassle them. And it's just like almost like another full-time job is trying to get these people to come fix their mistakes.
Yeah.
And dealing with that is a huge hassle. So I mean, it's cool that we've gotten things fixed, but we've earned every single thing that's gotten fixed here. Like, it's been tooth and nail with these people. It's definitely not easy. Just in the future, I think that if you were ever get a new home, or we were ever gonna have a new home, definitely look into who built your home. Make sure you can personally inspect it before you do any commitment with contracts or signing. But I will say this.
We will never buy a home out of state again unless, like, if we're gonna move again, we're gonna buy here and be there for everything.
Yeah. I don't think we regret doing everything that we did because a lot of the pros of like living out here, the weather, the price of everything, being able to buy from farmer's market, a lot of those are humongous pros for us, not just little pros.
This is where we kind of want to stay at right now.
Yeah, these were huge life changes that we made because we wanted to do that. And I don't think that this is our forever home, but it got us out here so that we could have the stepping stone we need to find our forever home.
And we just thought it would have been better for us to buy a home instead of renting.
Like I was saying, like since this isn't our forever home, a lot of these cons, we're like, yeah, they're cons, but we're probably just gonna move in a few years anyways, and we're gonna go find the home that we truly wanna live at for a while. I told Carlos the next house we live at, we have to actually live there for a while. Like, I'm not saying forever, because I'm not much of a forever person, but like 5-10 years, the next house for sure. This is definitely not our forever home. We just wanted to get out here, put our money into something. This is basically an investment that hopefully we can profit off later. So I think that was a huge process for it, but yeah. Anyways, guys, that's it for the pros and cons of moving across the state and buying a brand new build home. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, smash that thumbs up button.
And also just remember, this is our opinion. This is not everybody.
Yes. If you guys have any questions or if you guys want to say anything, leave them down in the comments. We'll be taking a look at those. And we'll see you guys in our next video.
Bye, guys.